I believe there's no need for me to introduce this one brand. Fiio, it's already a very well-known brand. And right now I'm gonna review their dongles. There are actually 3 dongles. Start from the Fiio Ka1 that costs around $50, and then the Fiio Ka2, $60, and their current flagship, the Fiio Ka3, that costs around $90. Okay, just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, feature, and how they sound, also definitely comparison. Build quality wise, they are very similar to one another. They all feels really durable with this kind of block build. They are all made of metal that feels really convincing. They feel really robust, but the difference is mainly on the connectors. Like this Fiio Ka1, it's only using a single 3.5mm single-ended here, and the USB-C cable here is non-detachable. And then the Fiio Ka2 is balanced only 4.4mm, and again the USB is non-detachable. But the Fiio Ka3 is the biggest among them all, and yes, it's detachable now, and you could get this both connectors from the 4.4 balance and also single-ended 3.5mm. They all feels really good in my hand. They feels durable, and I believe that they will last for a long time. They just really feels convincing and robust in my hand. In terms of feature, I don't think that they actually have a physical feature, because there's nothing literally. They have no physical button on their body, so it's just this RGB LED indicator, depends on the what kind of file that you play. So mostly the feature comes from the Fiio Control app that you could download through your Android. And yeah, I don't know why, but this Fiio Ka1, I cannot connect this Fiio Ka1 with my Android to try the Fiio Control app, but I have no problem with this Ka2 or this Ka3. And I have read some in the forum that they actually have similar issues. I don't know, maybe the Fiio will update this issue later. But in the Fiio Ka2, you could actually control some things like the gain from the low to high, and then left right channel balance, and also you could find 5 choices of filters. But yes, you cannot find an equalizer in the apps. And going to the Fiio Ka3, it's actually literally the same in the almost the same in the Fiio Control app. You could control what the Ka2 could, but you just gain some more options regarding impedance options, and also instead of 5 filter choice, you get 7. But other than that, I don't find anything really noteworthy about them. Before sharing with you about the sound, I'd like to share more about with my user experience, because I have been daily using them. So the thing is, I don't know why, but it's strange, because when I'm using this Fiio Ka1 through my laptop or to my smartphone, it can only connect to my smartphone. Different with this Ka2 or Ka3, I can just plug it into my laptop and it works well. It just plug and play. I don't know why, but I think there's something different with this Fiio Ka1. I couldn't connect it with the Fiio Control app, and I just also couldn't connect it with my laptop, but I could use them normally using like the U app, or even just plug and play through my phone. And also using them daily, I find that even though they feel like metal, they feel quite robust, but they are actually quite light, so I'm not really concerned about their weight. You just not really yank them easily from your phone, because it's actually not really heavy. So I really like about that lightness in their body weight. And also in terms of power usage, I mean the battery, the Fiio Ka3 is the one that uses your battery the most. It's different with this Ka2 or Ka1, but it's not by huge margin. I still feel that it's still on an okay level. I don't feel it's like a vampire, just like the E1DA that I've tried before. It sucked my battery really quickly. I feel that this is still in an okay territory. And also, I don't know why, but the Fiio Ka1 and Fiio Ka2 doesn't really get hot when I'm using them, but this Fiio Ka3 definitely gets hot is the easiest among the three, and it will get hot easiest when I'm plugging it through my laptop. So maybe that's something to be note of. In terms of sound, I have compared them with some of my sources, and for me, using any of my audio gear for my IEMs or headphones, it is quite clear that they are somehow sounds the most bright and neutral compared to my other sources. It's the most aggressive one, I should say, especially in the Fiio Ka1 and also the Ka3. It sounds the most, I should say, dry. It's the driest and also a bit harsh maybe for some songs. It's quite revealing, but it's really pushing out the detail and also the resolution. So if you like technicals, you like details, you like very tight kind of sound coming from your dongle deck, for me this Fiio Ka1 and Ka3 especially definitely gives you that. It's but the thing is, actually I don't really like this kind of dry sounding IM, but it may helps with some of the IMs that you feel maybe too laid back, such as the Yuan Li or maybe the Blonde or Tanjung Tanja. It helps bring out more details, or maybe giving more balance and impacts also in the higher frequency region. And also saying that the Fiio Ka2 is the most different of them all, I should say that even though the difference is not by much, but I could say definitely that this Ka2 is the more balanced one. It's not as dry, as harsh, and also as aggressive as the Ka1 or Ka3. It might have also because of the DAC that is being used in the Ka1 and also Ka3, they are using Saber DAC, while the Fiio Ka2 is using Cirrus Logic. That alone is definitely different. Starting from the Ka1 itself, like I said, it sounds quite aggressive. The bass is very tight. It can go really fast though, so maybe if you like some rock music, you will like this kind of DAC. And also, but being said, I feel that the power of this dongle deck is really lacking. It's only rated around 45 milliwatt for 32 ohms. So yeah, that's pretty low. I'm not gonna recommend you to try using them with some IMs that is hard to drive, like the Teen P1 or the Teen P2 or even the Swanergy XO1, or even some headphones. It doesn't really have that a lot of power. But yeah, in terms of maybe battery, it doesn't really suck your battery fast, so yeah, it's maybe safe for a daily usage. But if you have more money, if you have more budget, and you have 4.4 balance, for me it's no-brainer to save just a little bit. The difference is because the difference is only $10, and for me the Fiio Ka2 is definitely a much better choice. It sounds more balanced, not as aggressive and quite harsh as this Fiio Ka1, but it has much more power, and for me it's proven throughout my experience using headphone or some IMs. On paper, it even have 3 times power as much as this Fiio Ka1, which is rated on 45 milliwatts for 32 ohms, while this Fiio Ka2 is rated 153 milliwatt for 32 ohms. But yeah, in terms of technical also, it is much better in terms of detail, soundstage, and overall resolution. So if you have balanced cable, just skip this one, just save a little bit more, and you get this definitely better the Fiio Fiio Ka2 I mean. But if you really like the sound of this Fiio Ka1, you just want something that is more better in terms of resolution and overall technical performance, the Fiio Ka3 definitely gives you that. I should say that it sounds drier, right, in compared to the Ka2. It sounds a little bit too dry sometimes, but I would say that if you like this kind of sound that really pushed a lot of details because of how tight they sound, and also how they really push a lot of detail nuances in a lot of songs, this Fiio Ka2 is really good at that, and it has really good black background, and again, it has much more power compared to Fiio Ka1. which is rated for 130 milliwatts for 32 ohms using its balanced. I'm using its single-ended, and using balance it's rated 240 milliwatts at 32 ohms, and that's actually 5 times more powerful than this Fiio Ka1. And for me, that's really easy to recommend you to try a lot of quite maybe more harder to drive IEMs or headphones. I will say that this Fiio Ka3 definitely gives you much better power performance, but yeah, it sucks more from your phone's battery. But for me, the difference is not by much, but it's noticeable in the sound department. The Fiio Ka3 is just definitely much more better than the Fiio Ka1. Okay, talking about the comparison, I'm not gonna talk more about this Ka1 or Ka2. I would like to say the Fiio Ka3 against this OVIDIUS B1 that is one of the most well-known, I think, because of that Andy's recommendation. The OVIDIUS B1 sounds much more natural for me. It has better timbre, it's just more lifelike in terms of texture regarding the bass and also mid-range and also treble. It just sounds much more natural. I can hear vocal better. It's not as dry as this Fiio Ka3 and not really thick either. It just gives you a really nice analog and a warm feeling, really good for if you like acoustics or maybe some vocalists that needs this kind of really natural timbre. This OVIDIUS B1 is definitely a better choice. But in terms of background, I feel that I get more hiss even though I'm using this impedance adapter using this OVIDIUS B1. And also the OVIDIUS B1 is not as technical as this Fiio Ka3. In some songs I could get more sub bass, even though it sounds drier and faster and maybe not really noticeable in some songs. But for me, I could hear more sub bass in the Fiio Ka3 and I could hear more air extension in this Fiio Ka3. So yeah, it's really like a opposite side of the coin. Because of this OVIDIUS B1, it's more about that natural feeling, it's more about that analog feeling for some people, you may say that. But this Fiio Ka3 is more about technical performance, but quite sacrificing some nuance, some natural timbre, some naturalness from the sound itself. So really, it goes back to your preference, and also it goes back to your synergy with your IEMs or maybe your headphones. In this OVIDIUS B1, yeah, you get more natural feeling, but this Fiio Ka3 could definitely gives you a more aggressive kind of sound that gives you a lot of details and a lot of power and resolution. So in the conclusion, it might be a little bit strange for me, but the Fiio Ka1, in terms of price, it costs around $50. And this Fiio Ka2 costs around $60, and this Fiio Ka3 costs $90. So from the Fiio Ka1 to the Ka3, it's not exactly double the price. But for me, I could say this in confidence that the Fiio Ka3 gives you double the performance of the Fiio Ka1, even better than double. So if you have money for the Fiio Ka1, for me, save just a little bit, save $40 more. If you like this Fiio Ka1, just go buy the Fiio Ka3 because you get much better performance overall. And also, if you like the Fiio Ka2, maybe you will choose the Fiio Ka2 better than this Ka3. But personally, for me, because you just add maybe around $30 more, for me, I would choose definitely Fiio Ka3 better. Because the Fiio Ka2, you could only use the 4.4 balance, which is not a universal plug, while the Fiio Ka3 gives you this balance and also single-ended universal plug, and they sounds just much more better in terms of technical. So it's quite unique because for me, in terms of pricing, the Fiio Ka3 is just like killing its own brothers in terms of price performance ratio. I think that's all I could say about this dongle de-asing. For me, good product from Fiio, but personally, if you ask me, I would just save when I'm using them, just save a little bit of money and just buy this Ka3. I think that's all. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question, please write down in the comments below, and see you next time. Bye bye.